So this fireside chat is very exciting. Building a lean AI-powered organization. Joining us are two local founders, Justin Johnson and Michael Ulin. Michael is a three-time AI founder who's raised more than $78 million across ventures and scaled two companies from zero to multi-million-dollar ARR. His background blends McKinsey strategy training with hands-on full-stack engineering and deep LLM experience, letting him move between business strategy and technical architecture without breaking stride. Prior to 10Key AI, he built the AI team and computer vision pipeline at Zesty AI, a company that scored over 200 million properties for climate risk. The enterprise-first company raised $50 million and landed customers from Berkshire Hathaway, AAA, and Farmers Insurance. He also scaled a Gen AI legal research platform, Paxton, to multi-million ARR in under a year, raised $28 million through Series A, and won awards, including New Law Company of the Year. Also joining us is Justin Johnson. Justin is a serial entrepreneur and technology leader who has spent more than 25 years building, scaling, and exiting several companies. As the founder and CEO of Motivate, an AI-powered sales automation platform, Justin helps businesses grow faster with fewer resources by turning manual sales and order processes into intelligent, automated workflows. Prior to Motivate, Justin founded Lead Method, a channel sales management platform that became one of the fastest growing software companies in Oregon. In 2017, Lead Method won the Ben Venture Conference before being acquired by Revelize, a TA Associates-backed software company. He later founded Mighty Rep, which was acquired by Blue Agave Solutions in 2024. Welcome to the stage, Justin and Michael. Very impressive, you two. You must be exhausted.
Just getting started.
I mean, yeah, just finding your strides, I bet. Okay, so you've both built and sold multiple companies, and we want to know, how has AI changed your playbook for building a company from the ground up?
I could start on that. Yeah, I mean, AI for this group, obviously lots of different levels, professional services, farmers, tech folks. AI is at another level, as we all know. I think when you enter a new company to take on, a product market fit, grow, scale, and you start with AI now, it is an absolute game changer. What I did, I founded Motivate a little less than a year ago, after two acquisitions prior. And I looked at the situation as, okay, let's take AI first and figure out what those tasks that I've always accomplished, marketing, client success, development, support, sales, what parts of those roles can AI accomplish? And then where do people fit in between, the roles? And ultimately, what I saw, and I'm excited to see what Mike says, is the tactical manual processes that are done in businesses that has AI written all over it, right? The heads down manual entry of information, whether it's, writing a press release, doing marketing copy for a website, those types of things. Even all my companies have been in the tech space, software development. We wrote 60% of our code using AI agents and tested. So it's truly a game changer, but you have to attack every aspect of the business, especially when you're starting. So an example, 5 years ago, I sold Lead Method, BBC 2017 winner. We had upwards of 40 people at the time, raised several $1 million. Took at least 5 years to get strong, solid traction so that we sort of fit into the acquisition zone. In 4 months, we are in the same market with Motivate, same types of customers, solving a little different problem. In 4 months, we're at the same revenue base with 4 people. So that is something to think about. It's from all the different capacities of the business, and we do, the different functions. So that's to answer where things have come in just 5 years.
Yeah, that's great.
It's interesting.
Great to be able to compare the two. How about you, Michael?
Yeah, just to echo a lot of what Justin said, things are getting a lot more efficient. My first company, we needed 10 people to get a product to market. My second company, 5 people, and then this new company, 3 people. And it's just kind of wild to think about, like, to start a company in the, say, Internet 1.0 era, you had to operate your own data center. Like, you needed physical servers. Like a company like Evite, just sending out invitations via email. That was a 300-person company, in the 1990s, early 2000s. Like, now you could vibe code that in an afternoon, like something that just sends email invitations. So the pace is getting faster. What you can do, you're getting this tremendous amount of leverage. I think there's really two main ways of thinking about the opportunity here. One, I think, is getting a lot of attention right now, and that is we're going to automate existing processes and supercharge them. So things that used to be manual, things like data entry or answering the phones, we're just going to do that with AI, and it's going to be a lot faster, a lot cheaper. But I think where the real winners of the next generation of companies are going to take this opportunity to rethink how they're organized, how their processes work, from like an AI native perspective. And you look how companies are run today that are, say, internet native or cloud or SaaS native, how different those look versus the companies of a couple decades ago. And I think the real winners will be the ones who take the opportunity to actually rethink how they do business and design for the future in mind, not just, say, supercharge the way things work today.
I have lots of questions. Okay. So for business owners who want to start implementing this AI tomorrow, what's the first process they should look at?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what your goals are. Like, I see a lot of companies, they're creating an AI committee or they're having like a point person on AI, and we don't have like an email committee. We don't have like a Microsoft Office committee. These are like tools, right? And for some reason people put this kind of magic on AI. So I think really think about what your kind of strategic goals are for your organization. Are you trying to cut costs? Are you trying to expand? Like, think about what you'd like to achieve, and then align your initiatives against those goals. So, like, if you want to expand sales, then you can look into tools that could help your sales and marketing automation, rather than just say, hey, generically, we want to be more AI. So I think if you want to take like a baby step, if you want to take the first steps, definitely just consider what you're trying to accomplish already and how that could be made better. But if you're really trying to, I think, future-proof your organization, like that involves, say, change management, that involves a cultural shift. So giving your employees, giving yourselves that space to experiment, test things, and encourage trials, encourage failure. Like, not every organization has that in their culture. And I think the organizations that do best at adapting to shifts have that culture of experimentation built in. So, really ask yourself, do I encourage my people to actually go try new things? And do they feel, psychologically safe trying something and failing? Because If you don't have that culture, then people don't want to try those new things, and I don't think they're going to adapt or change as well.
That's very thoughtful. And I think you could argue we do need a committee from Microsoft Outlook. But anything to add, Justin?
Yeah, I think a big part of a lot of our businesses is we need to get an excuse to spend more time with customers, get out from behind the computer and build that customer service regardless of what your business is. And so at a very, very practical level for your businesses, look at the tasks in each of the departments that take the most time and are the most manual. And that could be a meeting with each department head or folks, right, to identify what that is, and then just attack one at a time and knock it out. And this isn't about spending $50,000, $100,000 on software. This is about using the traditional tools, just ChatGPT, right, or Copilot. So your marketing team needs some guidance around how to get better quality content, press releases, web copy. Your finance team needs to automate their AP automation to bring invoices in to match POs. Just each one of those functions. And what we tell our customers is this is just about automating the process and the work that people don't always love to do, so that you can spend more time with customers accelerating the business, whether it's sales, whether it's building better relationships with the community. It's the whole thing. So to me, it's a win-win. It's not about, and I know we're going to touch on this question later, but it's not about replacing employees. It's about giving a little bit of life to their jobs sometimes, especially folks that are in those manual tactical functions, and saying, here's the opportunity to elevate and make a difference versus just staying behind that computer, which we've all sort of suffered with in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about my home office and I'm like, I need help with dusting, Justin. I need help with yard work. Okay, that's another conversation. Let's talk about this fear around AI replacing jobs. How do you balance automation with keeping people engaged and employed?
Like that to start. Okay. It depends on your business. If you're a startup and just creating your business, you need to think through AI first. And then so, you're not going to have 10, 20, 30, 40 people like you maybe traditionally have. Now, the businesses that are operating and running now, we build culture. We spend a lot of time talking about why people are important for us. And it's very, very important. So our business, Motivate, we automate the order and quote process for industrial supply companies. So your electrical companies, your plumbing, HVAC that have, thousands of orders coming in every day with 100 lines. And the only way that information came in from a PDF or an Excel file was manually typed into their ERP order process system. And these folks had worked at these businesses for a very, very long time. And their mom and pop shops, even if they were acquired by large private equity companies, they still kept that foundation, that culture. So what we've done is, again, when you're rolling out these tools to your people or to your customers or whoever it is, say, look, we're going to empower you, just like I mentioned, to be better, smarter, faster, and more engaged with customers, because you're getting from behind that computer and you're actually, the skill that we hired you to do, which spend time with, our customers or other folks, we're going to give you and empower you to do that. So that is, sure, maybe there's a 10 or 20% cut because folks are retiring or there's some low performers, but the work still has to get done. Those manual tasks are great, but let's now dream up what's next. And that's how we put it in perspective for folks.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's about creating this culture where it's okay to try new things, and people aren't in fear of there's going to be a lot of job cuts, because I think, I've seen this at a lot of organizations where people are afraid to admit that they're using AI to make themselves more efficient, because they hear this messaging that, we're going to be replaced. And that's doing, I think, a big disservice to these organizations, because people aren't sharing best practices. They're not talking about what they're doing. They're just kind of secretly automating away some of the tasks that they find mundane, and then not sharing best practices with their colleagues or coworkers. And I think a lot of the messaging to date has been this efficiency message, and I think really we as leaders, we as decision makers, we should start, encouraging people to think bigger, like not we're going to take the same things that we had been doing and do them with fewer people. We're not going to say take what we had been doing with 100 people and do them with one, but like, why not take 100 people and now accomplish what you could with 10,000 people? Like, I think not thinking about what we do today and say, hey, we'll save some money, but like, now that we can be so much more effective, have so much more leverage, like, why not go bigger? Why not make a bigger company? And I think to date, a lot of the messaging has been around that efficiency, cost-cutting side. And you look at prior technological shifts, like go back to the Industrial Revolution. Like we had small local breweries, like small hand manufactured goods, and it wasn't like the local brewery just, suddenly did what they did with 20 people and then did it with 5. We didn't get more efficient local breweries. We got Budweiser, we got Miller, we got these giant organizations. And I think we're, as soon as people kind of wake up to this new way of thinking, like, I think we'll see the same effect with AI, like have things of a much, much bigger scale than what was possible before.
Do you think that this is a pathway to like improving the quality of jobs and like bringing the wages that it's stagnated up? Is it fair to say that that's one path forward?
I think, today, if I was a new college grad or if I was someone on the job market, like the probably quickest or highest value thing I would do would be learn how to get really good at AI. Like there's such a talent shortage. When we're looking for people, either on the operations side or the engineering side, like we can't find enough people with these skills. And like people who are AI native, I think are going to be in demand as people who were internet native, digital native in transitions prior. So I think there's going to be an unlock there. It's going to be it's going to be a tough transition for a lot of folks, but the people who are resilient, open to change, open to learning, and the people who just are generally, they learn how to learn, like those people are always in demand, and I think will demand a premium in terms of wages.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, or?
In this whole shakeup of jobs and AI, my mind always goes to the trades, which is going to be really interesting. So, something that people have lost a lot of interest in the last 20 years. I would recommend folks get into that, because I don't think AI is going to take that work anytime soon. But there is a lot of entry-level jobs that I'm definitely fearful of the recent college grads, because that's just the basic fundamental functions of those jobs are wrapped into AI for sure.
Yeah. Okay. What's a mistake that you see companies making when they first try to add AI into their business? You kind of alluded to this, but I would love to have you elaborate.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked in circles a little bit around this, but I think, trying to think of a takeaway for you guys and your businesses, but everybody's experience with ChatGPT and some other things, right? You throw something in there and you're just blown away, then you go deeper and deeper. I think the advice that I would have for your companies or startups is don't treat it like just a side project. Like really go in and empower your people, but they may not exactly know how to do it. So have some folks, a part of the team, sit down with each department and say, okay, what are your jobs? What do these look like? And then define a process to automate that, and then give them the permission to use it. This isn't cheating. This is empowering them to be better, faster at their jobs. And then again, lay up this isn't replacing you. This is just getting the business and you more involved so that you can spend more time with customers. So I really encourage you to tackle that. And it's not, again, you're not going out and having to spend a bunch of money on these AI SaaS products. This is embedded. I do recommend getting if you're using ChatGPT, for example, or Copilot or any of the others, get the business license, right? At least it walls off some security. It's not just open. and you're not throwing financials in there to do some financial modeling, which is very possible, right? I mean, all those things, we're not talking about just text here. If you've got a spreadsheet that you need it to analyze, put that information in there, it'll give you some amazing conclusions that we may not even come up with ourselves. So it's sky's the limit when it comes to that. But just, you understand your businesses, dissect them, understand where you can use it, and then empower your people to do it. That's my advice.
I love that. Okay, how about you, Michael?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to people, culture, and training and empowering people. There are these stats around like 95% of like enterprise AI pilots fail to deliver ROI. McKinsey just put out a report that only 6% of companies are considered like AI leaders. And you look at those companies and the difference in financial performance is like astounding. So how do we get more companies to be at that level? And I think it comes down to having this culture of experimentation, of learning, of letting people try things. Because what I hear about today is like, oh, we've got an AI committee and our goal is just generally to do more AI. Well, AI in service of what, right? Right. And a lot of people are just, they have their day job. They're already super busy, and then their boss or their CEO just told them, hey, on top of your 8, 10, 12-hour day, also figure out how to rethink your whole process and like reinvent your whole role. And that doesn't work. So think about finding like depending on the size of your organization, there's probably like 5 to 20% of people are these change agents who want to try new things. We're probably using AI already, and make them feel safe, encourage them to tell their stories, encourage them to experiment, because they can serve as real role models and case studies for the rest of the organization. But if the messaging is just around cuts and efficiency, like they're never going to speak up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, you have something to add.
I want to comment a little bit about tech and software. That's our world. There were 50,000 AI startups created this year already, just so you know. People buy into this vibe coding. Non-programmers can go and throw a couple prompts together and they have, an Evite or whatever it is. So from the technology perspective, it has never been easier or cheaper to create a software company. Now, the fundamentals of a successful company, that's a totally different thing that Mike just called on. I would say 99.999% of those companies are just a pet project that somebody did in an afternoon. Product market fit will always win, right? It's, Clayton Christensen, the late Harvard professor, said customers are not interested in a quarter-inch drill. They're interested in a quarter-inch hole in the wall so they can hang their picture. So those in technology or anything else that will continue to win are those that come up with the idea that customers want and we're willing to pay for, regardless of the technology, right? It's the same thing. It's just a little faster and a little easier and a little cheaper to do now, but it's still the same fundamentals for successful businesses that it was 20 years ago. So keep that in mind. If everyone wants to race out and start an AI software company, do your homework, put that product manager hat on, go into the trenches, find out what people want and what you can solve, and then you'll have a business.
I appreciate that. Such an interesting moment for AI. Okay, how about a round of applause for Justin and Michael? I feel like this was a really good kind of starting point, and I'm sure that you all have questions. So I'm going to open it up to the floor, and you can ask any kind of question you want. And okay, right here.
Sorry, the captain himself.
I know. Hello, sir.
Thanks, Dan.
Aside from Cursor and other development agents and the LLMs, are there any agents that you guys are using in your companies for other functions of the business?
Okay, so aside from like cursors and LLMs, are there any other agents that you're using inside of your companies that you're finding some success with?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of useful stuff out there. I love the note takers. Like, there's a whole host of those. Granola, Fireflies. Like, that's been a tremendous unlock of like having not having to take notes in a meeting, then having something that others can review. Like we even take the notes from like our customer interviews, like, and we'll have a stack of like 20 customer interviews, and then have AI analyze them into a product requirements document. And that used to be like a that was a really big pain in the ass for product managers, right?
Right.
And now we have something that's higher fidelity, available quicker, and people can talk to more customers and get more data. So like those sorts of things are really valuable. Like, I mean, this is kind of like it's becoming pervasive. I mean, like with marketing, you can generate content in a way that used to be a high effort thing. Like with VO, you can make, like I made a marketing video that looks like a professional commercial that probably would have taken, I don't know, it probably would have been a couple $100,000 and made it for $50, right? Like enabling organizations to kind of punch above their weight is just kind of what's possible now. Like you can generate high quality video content, high quality blogs, have people do these operational efficiencies. So it really just depends on where you want to start, what you're aligning those use cases with your priorities, so you're not trying to do everything at once. But there's a whole host of things out there.
Yeah, like not the nonprofit sectors coming to mind for me. Like there's so many kind of T's to cross and I's that need to be dotted. And like these tools address so much of that so that you can actually be in the work, which is really beautiful. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, other questions? Yes, in the back.
So you mentioned doing, the work, let's say, a factor of 10, meaning, you replace 10 employees with one using AI. How are you testing for people's AI skills when they come in?
Yeah, this is a great question. He's wondering, how are you testing for people's AI skills? Like, how are you identifying candidates that are up to speed?
That's a good question. I haven't gone through that exercise because we just don't have enough employees that weren't a part of sort of the founding team that developed their own process together. It is a really good question. I would probably give an assignment of that job function and ask their process and how they went about doing it. That might be the best scenario for whatever that function is, whether it's finance or marketing or PR or even, development. What is your thought process? What'd you think about? What'd you do? What tools did you use? That's probably my best recommendation on that.
Yeah, and just ask them what they've done. Like what is a problem that you've solved with AI, and tell me about it. And even if you want to do like a work sample or what used to pass for like a take-home test for engineering that won't cut it anymore. But knowing the bar has been raised and knowing what is possible now, try to come up with a test that shows that they're able to do something in a short period of time. But I think asking people, what have you done with AI? Tell me about a hard project you've undertaken, a time when you had to learn a new skill to accomplish something. Like those are good stories and good things to test for.
Is there somewhere people can...
Sorry, can I comment?
Please.
So we're going through a round of interviews, hiring several people right now. And I was getting these resumes that just were like perfect for the job description. It's like, what are you people doing? And they were kind of similar. Like, what? And then I realized everything is going through some sort of LLM. Here's the job description, write a resume that's uniquely different and a cover letter based on my job description. It takes 30 seconds, it's on. So the real test came when they actually got to speak, because no one could cover that, right?
We call that slop. That's what we call that. It's a technical term. Is there a place that people can go, like, get up to speed and learn these skills? Like, could I take a course?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Like, there's 100,000 things out there, I'm sure. Just ask chat where to get the information.
How can I get smarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point, actually. Think about a thing you would like to do and ask ChatGPT how you would do it. Like, and you might hit some dead ends, you might mess up, but it's a really great learning experience for kind of getting a feel for what's possible, where things can go wrong. And then, yeah, there's a lot of great organizations. Learn Air, based here in Redmond and Bend, does a lot of training. There's like Learn XYZ. There's a lot of content online. It can be really hard to sift through what's good and what's not at this point because everything's so like new and cutting edge. But I would really just encourage people to try to do something and see where it goes wrong and see where the limits are. And that's just a great way of learning about this stuff.
So I will warn you, Chat, GPT, and all the rest of them, they have this thing called hallucinating, right? Where they want to make you happy. So I'll tell you a quick story. I know we're running short on time. I went to a presentation. I was giving a presentation, and it was about 750 people. And I asked Chat to help me with the slides. Great, amazing. Here's what I wanted to do. It gave me some great ideas and insights. And it gave me 3 incredible quotes from some very well-known people that are real. And those quotes were fake, all of it. And I put them in my deck, and I was like, wait a minute. I went back. So why would you do this? Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I won't do that again. That could have been disastrous. So lesson learned,
This is
be
so
careful.
perfect, because this was just what I was going to say, because it sounds like what is emerging is when you're going to use these tools, don't turn your brain over to it, keep using your brain. And that's where we run into troubles, is when we just let it do it for us, right? And we stop challenging our own minds. So it sounds like that's what's emerging here for sure. You can be explicit with it, Michael. You can say it. Tell the people, use your brains. That's what they're for. This was amazing. Thank you so much. I know we have tons more questions, so engage with Michael and Justin, but thank you for this, and thank you for the time, and I think you made it like very accessible. Yeah, thanks for being here.